Yesterday, I think my screen is visible. I'm also audible. Yeah. Yesterday, we discussed one of the kind of different and very useful and important topic in Tableau, which is called sets. So, as the name suggests, set is like mathematical set where you can create combined version of multiple members of a dimension, right? And then it can use in many useful ways. So set is a very powerful feature out in Tableau, which can be used to for common filters, or you can use in calculation, or you can do whatnot. So I can create a set for top 10 customers. I can save it, and then that set can be used to filter out or to focus on, or um, like whatever is your need, right? So creating sets gives us flexibility in terms of one is stored filters. You could store them. So if you have some complex calculation like you are in top 10 customer, you're also in top 10 sales, plus you are having more profit in some particular market segment or in some category. You could have any kind of complex transformation logic, right? So set could be used to encapsulate that. So you could create a set with all those complex conditions, store it in your data connection, and then anybody can use it. So the way it works is this particular data connection which is created here, right? You can save it and you can share it with multiple people, so they can utilize the same. So as soon as we have sets created, they get stored in the same data connection, and then they can be used with multiple people. So we saw some use cases of sets yesterday. So uh, any doubt from previous session, or we could move ahead today. Okay. So today we'll discuss on basically filtering data. So filtering is one of the very essential thing in creating any reports. Okay. So what actually we're trying to do here is we're trying to build some ground so that you have idea of all the essential things needed to create a Tableau report or visualization. And then we'll have series of sessions to create some of the complex visualization, and we'll see how we can leverage the tips we learned here, right? So how you can use sets, or how can you use filters, groups to in those visualizations. So that's the idea. So these are some of the building blocks of creating Tableau reports. That's why we're discussing them in the beginning. So the other very important thing in any reporting product is how do you filter data? Okay, because it's very important, because that gives you next level of interactivity in your reporting. So nobody want to just go ahead and see all the data, right? They want to filter to own specific need, or they want to filter it to their department, or they want to filter it by a date or in a particular city, whatnot. So it's basically our where clause in SQL, right? So one of the good things about I like about Tableau is its filtering is very neat. Okay, there's a lot of strong options, and it's really intuitive for users. Users like it, what they see when they see filter strips and all, and it's very easy to configure. Okay, so let's look at some of the options. The first thing we're going to look at is how all you can filter. Basically, there are various ways to filter. Okay, that's what the workbook says, the ways to filter. So just to refresh, let's try to create this report again. Okay, so I'm trying to create a scatter plot for sales versus profit, right? And I want to drill it down with category and shipping cost and product name. Okay, so I'm going to create a new worksheet. I want to see sales by profit, right? So click on sales by profit. If you go to show me, it will suggest you scatter plot. So scatter plot is best when you have measures on both rows and column, right? So you'll just get one mark, right? because you haven't put any dimensions yet. So it's just showing you total sum of sales versus total sum of profit. Right? So the dimensions I want to do it by is anything, let's say category and product name. So I could drag the categories onto the colors. Okay, so you have three categories: office furniture supplies. So you could say, yeah. So out of them, the furniture one has less profit, right, as compared to sales. Okay, something is wrong there. Now I can drill it down to individual product. So you can take product name and put into detailed shelf. Right? Something like that. Now you got marks for every category and product combination. So basically, at the every product level, you got a mark here. So the total number of circles here will be equal to the number of products in your data set. Okay. So you can easily see this one is having the highest profit one. Okay. Advanced copier. So this is kind of outlier. You would always right click and sorry, you can say annotate. Annotate basically is like putting some notes. Okay, it's again a good feature. So I can just mark this point and I can say interesting. Okay, you can see this note comes up. You could add complete area. Okay, and you can say annotate area. Okay, look to look further. So these things can be done. You could always add and basically put your comments on a particular thing so that when you share reports, you could share with people. Okay. So you could add a point saying that, okay, this is what happened here, why this is basically outlier. I don't know the business, so I don't know, but the business person will know, right? So how you was able to do that? So that one of the handy thing you could always just call annotations. Okay, you can right click and annotate, and you can put the point. So now this is all fine. Now I want to filter this data set, right? So one way of filtering is, let's say I want to filter only for a particular category. Okay. So the easiest way of doing that is you put category into the filter shell. Right? So you drag category to filter and you get the option. So I just want to filter for furniture, and you say okay. You can see. So you got the filter put into where clause of the SQL which will be generated, right? If it's a relational database, and the data set got filtered automatically. Okay. But now if I want to change it, okay. So let's say I want to see furniture and I want to move towards something else. So one option is you can go back here again, click on filter, and you can change to technology. And you can say okay. So these are kind of cumbersome, right? So the other good option is, which gives a lot better interactive, is using the quick filters. Okay. So you can always right click and say show quick filter. Then the quick filter shows on the right hand side here. Now you could always change to whatever you want. I can click on both, I can click on all, I can click on just office services. So this quick filter will be with your report, and this is the standard way of letting people interact with your report. Okay. So if you want people to interact with the report, you create quick filters for it. So we'll see the advanced option in what are options available quick filter. But quick filter gives you option to filter your data set accordingly. Now you could always filter data right from here. So I could filter on a region. So I can say right click and say show quick filter. Okay, so you got all the regions here, right? So if you're only interested in East region, you just click on East. So you just got data for East here. So you can add multiple quick filters. And as soon as you directly do quick filter here, data will be added to filter shift automatically. Right? So if I see central, you can see here is showing region is equal to central automatically. Okay. So that's second way. The third way is you can always right click and say keep only. Okay, or exclude. So if I say keep only, you can see just kept one mark. This is automatically added. This is kind of auto-generated filter by Tableau. Okay, I can always go back. So basically, you don't want to include this, so you can always right-click and say exclude. So that particular mark will be excluded automatically for you. Okay, so you can say by default, actually, Tableau has internally created a set and put on the filter because this marks is combination of measures, right? It's not just not single measure. So you can see the symbol here. It's a symbol of set, but it's auto-generated. Okay. So as soon as you right-click and say exclude, Tableau generates automatic set. Okay. So you can see he just combined furniture and this and created a set for you on the fly. So and he just say exclude this particular set, right? Furniture and black and this particular combination. So that will not come up into your list. So sets can combine multiple measures into one and could be used. But it's like this thing was done internally by Tableau. We didn't create it. So if you have something very simple like this, okay. So this is showing sum of profit by order and uh, subcategory, right? So let's try to create this report again just to replace things. So I want to see sum of profit. So I just drag profit by year. So the year is of the order date. So I'm trying to see sum of profit by year and break it down by category and subcategory. Break it down by category and let's say subcategory as well. Right. So for every year, it's showing me how my categories and subcategories are doing in terms of profit. Okay. So on 2011, I got negative profit for tables, and it's trending basically, right? So the profit is in 2014 also negative. It's higher at the highest scale. That's okay. Okay. If you want, you can put category or profit on the color itself, just to color code it, right? So the negative profit will come into red, and the darker the profit, it's basically higher, right? So the size of bar also tells that, so that's fine. You could sort this out. Now, if you want to just filter on technology, so the other way of doing this is you can right click and say keep only, right? It's just going to keep the technology. Automatically the filter is added here, right? The other way is you can directly double click. So if you double click, you go to technology only. That's kind of one other way of doing that. So you just want to see on art, double click on art. So you got filtered by art itself. So this filter is automatically added here. okay, by Tableau. You don't need to worry about that. Or you can just right click and say keep only. Okay. So these are important when you are trying to analyze something, right? So you want to analyze data and you want to drill down into it, right? You want to focus on a particular technology, then you can just filter. But if you have canned reports and you want people to play, then the best way is you add a quick filter, right? So I go to category and say show quick filter. So that gives better option to change. Okay. So basically, we saw three ways of filtering data. One is you just put into filter share, right? I put state here. I can select from the list and whatnot. The second option is you can put into quick filter. And the third way is you can always click on header and say keep only, or you can just double click and go into it. Okay. So if you see in any option you do, either Tableau automatically puts that into filter check, or you also do it manually, right? So one of the good thing is there is nothing hidden here. Okay. So whatever filtering you are applying, you can always see it in the filter shell. Okay, whether you do it implicitly or explicitly. So whether I do it by these, like this from quick filter, if I go and category and say filter, you'll see those tools are applied, Office technologies and Office supplies. Okay. So whatever you do on the screen, there is nothing implicit happening on backend. Okay. All those filters are added here automatically by you. So if you do like on the this way, Tableau adds a filter set to your filter, right? So whatever you do, the filters will be there here. If you want to remove some filter, you can always drag it, and unless the red symbol, you can see the red mark here, right? So this red means now once you drop it here, it will be gone from the report. Okay, it's gone. If you want to drag out any one of the fields, you can just drag category and get it out of the mark, unless you see this red cross symbol. Okay, then it's gone. You can always do undo, the top button, or even use Control Z. Okay. So you have unlimited undo, so you can always undo whatever you want. Okay. So these are various ways in which we can filter out. Okay. Now we'll see these options in detail. What options are out there? Okay. In our next thing. Any doubts till now? Okay. So the next is how to use the filter shelf. So let's see. Okay. Again, this is standard report which shows by categories, subcategories, market, the sum of profit. Okay. So look, okay. Now let's try to explore this filter shelf. Okay. So now, based on what kind of dimensional measure we are tracking, the filter shelf will vary. Okay. So let's say in this particular case, I want to filter by, let's say, segment. Okay. So you put on a filter shelf. Okay. The first option you get it, you can select whatever you want. So this is a very basic option. The other option you can use all. Okay. And then you can go to wildcard. So you can have a lot of options. So you can have, let's say, uh, like kind of filters, right? So the like clause which you use in SQL, those can be done here. So you can say segment starts with something or ends with something, or it's exactly match, or it contains. So contain is basically like. So it's like percentage something percentage, right? this complete live thing. So remember, whatever we are doing and we are using live connection, right? So this is going to impact your SQL in the backend. So all the query tuning and whatever we do. So this is not at a Tableau level most of the time. So if we use a filter here and I use a contains, so this is going to use like this. This is going to put a filter saying if I am using a live connection where segment like, let's say I want to search for segment like APAC. Okay. So this is going to put the query like this, right? So this is definitely not going to use index on your segment. In terms of database technology, this is not going to use index. So this will be a full table scan. So that those going to be expensive. Okay. So look for them. So they are like handy features, but we have to be careful. The other option is everywhere there is an exclude button. Okay. So you can always convert a in filter to not in or not exist. Right. So I can just select from list, or I can just say consumer and I can say exclude. So basically, except consumer, everything else will be shown. So this will be like not consumer, so not in consumer, something like that. Yeah. Now there are conditions. So this is like our standard dialog box which we have for set, right? So you can always filter by some condition. Okay. So I can have condition profit of. I can have anything like market. This is like for measures mostly. So I can have sales greater than or less than something. Or we can use a formula, complex formula if you want. Or we can use the top one. Okay. So top 10 by profit or top 10 by sales, something like that. So we discuss on sets, right? So you could use create filter here, or you could always create a set. Same thing is there. The advantage of using set is that this will be stored in your data connections. Okay. So let's try to see top one by profit sum. Okay. So I'm just trying to filter a segment. Basically, I'm trying to filter the top segment by profit here. Okay, so whichever it is. So, okay. So I got which segment I got. So this doesn't make sense here because I got all the three segments, right? Okay, so these I have to say all. Yeah. Okay. And I have to put segment in the tooltip just to see what segment is coming. You can see segment consumer is coming, right? So because consumer is the top by profit. Okay. So let me again do it whatever I have done. Okay. So I'm using segment and profit. Okay. Just we create a small report which says segment by profit. Okay. So let's use a text cross tab, the first one here. Okay. Click on show me, use the cross tab. So these are the three segments we have, and these are the profits. So the consumer is the highest by profit, right? 749 for sure. Okay. So what I want to do is on this particular report, so this one, I want to only show the data for segment which has the top profit. Okay. So one is this. So basically, one way of doing this is manual. So you create a small report and you find out which segment is having the top profit, which is consumer. Okay. So what I can do here now, I can drag segment and I can select consumer. Okay. So now the data which is shown here is for consumer, which is the top profit. Okay. But this is kind of static thing, right? So tomorrow, as your profit and loss are changing, right, as your transactions are increasing, this will be no longer valid, right? So your corporate can become the top segment in terms of profit, or your home office can also become top segment in a coming months. Okay. So we want to automate this basically. This is wrong. Okay. So what I could do is I can use the filter shade effectively. So I can say use all. So I'm using the top filter and I'm saying give me top segment. So I want to get top one segment by profit. So I'm just going to click profit sum. So this is exactly same thing. Okay, so you just take segment and drag onto text just to see you. So everything here is consumer automatically, right? So I'm just going to take this back to tooltip. Okay, get segment out. Just put on tooltip. And the third way is, so now this top one consumer segment your filter. Now you want to use this in across reports, right? So the best way of doing this is you can just right click and create a set out of this. Right? I can say create set. I want to use value here. I will say top one segment by profit. So click on top. I say by field top one by profit of sum. Okay. So as soon as you click this, you can see this got saved here. Right? Now I want to filter here, okay, in this report. So I don't need to again write that whole calculation. Now I have this top one segment of profit. I can just drag it here. Okay. So automatically I got the records that filter got applied. Okay. So that's the advantage of set. Set can be used as generic filter across your reports. Okay. So now they are saved with data connection, right? So all the logic, this was a very simple logic. This could recreate it every time, but the set can be consist of very complex logic, right? So all those can be saved and then you can use them. Okay. The other advantage is you want to focus on top one segment, okay, but you want to see other data also. Okay. So what I can do is instead of putting into filter, I can just drag it to colors. Okay. So it shows me in and out, right? So in means basically these are the ones which are having segment as consumer, the top one, right? So if I just drag the segment to the desktop, you can see. Okay, you can see it's showing that for bookcase the top is consumer and this is having this much amount of profit out of the whole bar, right? So corporate has this, again consumer. So that's the advantage of sets. So sets are this way powerful. Okay, so you could store them and then you have this kind of feature. Now this is very difficult to get with filter, right? So if I want to get to this kind of report with a, you cannot do this with a filter, just a normal filter. Okay, so I think I made my point. So I'm just going to undo this. So as you can see, the filter has a lot of options. Okay, if you put a date onto filter, it gives different options. Okay, so basically what you want to do with the date, you want to filter on years, quarter, months, date, month, year, or individual date. So there are a lot of options. Okay, so let's say I want to do it by month. So I can say next. Then it will show you all the month, January, February, or you can say use all. Okay, you can put on some condition, same. Okay, or by the top. Okay, same option is there. But let's say I want to again put the order date and I say individual date. Okay, so you got all the dates 1, 2, 3, 4. You can select on them. Okay. Something like that. Or if I click on date and I say relative dates. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Okay. This is one of the again very nice handy feature. Okay. So many times we don't want to look on actual dates, but we want in relation, right? So let's say I want to see by months or days. Okay. So let's say I want to see for last 3 days or next 3 days or today, tomorrow, those kind of things. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that show me. Okay. So let me create OK, and let me put a show quick filter here. So I'm just giving a simple filter here saying that I want to see for last data for last 9 days. Okay, there is no data here, that's why it's showing nothing. Okay, so let's move it back to months. So I want to see now last 3 months, right? Or last 1 month. Okay, there's nothing in last 1 month, last 2 months. Okay, so you can see one good feature is it shows which date is putting. So 7/1 to 8/31. Last 3 months. Okay, there's nothing last 4 months. Okay, last 10 months. I think the dates are very older ones. Okay, so I got a last 10 months of data. Okay, you can say previous month, next month. They're a very handy filter in last years, next year, previous year. Okay, weeks, months. So these kind of filters are very difficult to get in other reporting tools. Okay, so this relative filter is very nice feature. So you could put it there and people can really use it to the effect. Okay. So if I go back to filter, so there is a relative date, there is ranges of dates. So you could put a range, right? So you could just say from this to this. Okay. Now if I click on OK, let me just put it here, right? So you can see he can always drag and drop. Okay. I want data from this to this range. It's that simple. So you just got data for all the orders which ordered between these two ranges of date. Or if you just want to put starting date, you can just say starting date greater than this or ending date greater than this. So the end will become freeze. So you start with minimum this and then you go wherever you want till whatever you want. Similarly, there is an end date. So these are like very self-explanatory. Okay. So your start is fixed, you can have an end date. Okay. Or you can have some specials like null date values, not null date values, or all dates. So again, dates are special, right? That's why they got the special filter box. So you could filter with relative dates. So basically last year, last 3 months, last 3 quarters, or today, tomorrow, something like that. These are very, the way we interact, right? It's a very common requirement. They want to just see last or today's orders, right, in the report. But quickly we want to change it by last 7 days. So today is okay. I want to see trends by last 7 days, right? So it's very generic. So let's say I'm trying to see distinct number of orders, right? Or let's say I want to see quantity sold by date, by order date. So let's swap, yeah, and let's change this to day. Okay. And I will change this to line graph. Okay, this is basically the trending of quantity order by order date. Right? Now, people just want to focus on something. Right? So you can just go from here and say show quick filter. Okay. So it's just saying filter. Okay. Now, why I'm not getting that kind of filter for this, like I got it for the previous one. So this is where Tableau differs. So this is basically has converted into blue. Is it discrete? Right? It's not continuous. That's why. So if I right click and say this is continuous, okay. Now you'll get an option. If I just go and again say filter, Okay. So I got again this. So it means that I have to put order date from here. Yeah. Because I was trying to put day of order date, right? So day of order date has not all such options. Okay. So if you want to filter, I just have to again drag the order date. Okay. So I will say relative date. That's what it makes most of the sense. Okay. So let's put it like this. So, and I'm just going to put a quick filter, right? So today will not make any sense. I want to say for last 3 days. Again, we don't have data. Okay. So better to go with months. So last 3 months, we don't have anything. I think we have for last 10 months. Okay. So you can see you got from November 7 to December 27 in 2014 for last 10 months. So you can always change it to whatever you want. I can again go back to filter. I can say ranges of date and whatnot. So filtering on dates is most useful, and especially the relative filter option. Okay, that can be used very effectively. So these were so dates have something special, like we saw. Right now, what about the measures? So if I'm trying to put a measure, okay, let's say you get the standard option. Okay, like sum, mean, max. So you want to see sum of sales. Okay, so same ranges of value, or at least or at most. So you want it at most. So I want it at least 0. I don't want to see negative sales value. Okay, so that's what it becomes filter now. Okay, so one good thing is always automatically show relevant values whenever you see a range or anything like that. Right? So let's say I want to drop by quantity, count this, sorry, sum of quantity, let's say. So you can see Tableau automatically shows you what are the ranges. So the minimum value is 1, maximum value is 461. Okay, so you could easily figure out what you want. So you could say include null values or exclude them, whatever you want. So it's very simple, but filtering on measures gives you this kind of option. You want. So that's how you can use filter shelf. So filter shelf, as we saw, there are a lot of advanced options, but they're very easy to use. So it could be understood by anyone, but I'm just trying to walk you through all the various options out there. So if I just try to drag a country here, okay, so it gives me a list of all the countries out there. So same wildcard condition, top fields. So we could choose any one of them. So that is basically using this filter shelf. Okay, I could have a filter shelf for. Any doubts till now? Okay. The next we're going to explore is the quick filter. Okay. So the quick filter has some of the options. Because we already saw quick filters. So I could, let's say I want to quick filter on categories. So you can just click on here and say show quick filter. Or you can drag categories from here on the filter shelf. Okay, and from here you can say show quick filter. Or you could always directly do it from here. I can say right click here and say show quick filter. Okay. So based on which kind of dimension we are putting on quick filter, the option changes. Okay. So this is basically multiple value list, right? So basically this you can choose multiple value and it's a list, right? But if you don't like this, you could change it to a single value list. Okay. So, so basically you want all the user to select a single value. So the obvious choice for this is radio button. Okay, there is no like science here. Okay, but you cannot select multiple values from here. Right? Something like, again, you can, if you don't like list, if you want to consume or if you want to save space, you can use drop down, single value drop down, right? So it just gives you a drop down. So these are basically useful when you want to go with some standard options, where you want to save space or something like that. Or you can have a slider, right? All those options are there, technology, office service. So these are basically your choice. You can have multiple value list, something like this, which we had, or multiple values drop down. Okay. So this will be useful when you have a lot of filters, right? So in that case, if you want to save space, you could use these options. Okay. So Tableau takes a default one and give it to you. According. Now, if I put city to quick filter, okay, so you got such options, right? So I can use multiple values drop down. Okay, I can select. You can see this drop down is bigger, right? Because a lot of cities. So there is a handy search here. You can always search for city like Chicago. So you got a Chicago here, right? You can uncheck this or you want to check it, something like that. You can always search for a multiple value things. So I'm trying to do for ship date, right? So you got years automatically when you did it. Okay. So all those kind of options are there in the quick filter. Okay. So other thing to look for is you could always change the heading. Okay, so you can say edit filter. That will go to the filter pane here, standard one. Okay. But if you say apply to worksheet, so this is where it become interesting. Okay. So by default, till now, what the filters we have used, they are only for a particular sheet, right? But you can always apply a filter to multiple sheets in the same workbook. Okay, so I can say that I want to apply this category filter to all using this data source. Okay, so you can see you got this symbol now. So this category is now kind of saved as for this complete data source. Okay, so if I create a new report, I want to see category by product ID. Sorry, by quantity. Okay, so you can see automatically this category filter is added. Okay, I don't have to add it separately. Okay. So this is one way of doing that. Okay, you can see everywhere now you'll see a category filter. Why? Because I asked him to apply it to all users. So I can just uncheck it, it will go away. Okay, or you can apply to selected worksheets. It will show you all the worksheet where you can apply. So I just want to apply it for these two. You can say okay. Okay. Now the symbol changes. So this is basically applied to specific worksheet. Okay. So there is nothing hidden. Okay, you will always see things here. So the database symbol means it's applied to the complete data source, and this means it's applying to some worksheet. I can just uncheck this. Okay. So I just don't want to apply it. I just want to keep it to this particular thing. Now you can format the quick filter. You will have a lot of options. Okay. You can change the font, color, alignment, and all that. Okay. That's not important. So we're not going to discuss that for now. Okay. You can say show title. Okay. So, or you can edit title. I can say select category. If you're not happy with the default title, you can basically change the title here. Okay. Now, other important point to understand is there is something like only relevant value and all values in database. Okay. and there's an include and exclude value. So exclude value is kind of very uh, intuitive. So you can just say exclude values. Okay. Now what I'm trying to say is when whatever you select will be excluded. So furniture is excluded now. Okay. And now basically if I select all, everything is excluded, right? So I just want to exclude furniture and technology. I want to just select on office category. Okay. Remember, exclude filters are very expensive, right? They will put not kind of clause on the database side if you're using live database. So use them wisely, right? So instead of doing this, it's better to do in office supplies, right? That will be much faster. Okay. So there's a handy click show all values just to clear the filter. You can see this small button here. So I just click, I just got back to my normal thing, right? And I will make this again include values. Okay. So by default, whenever we show quick filter, right, it shows me all the values out in database. Okay. So let's try to get rid of category and year. Just keep city. Okay. To keep it simple, and I am selecting all values. So by default, whenever we take anything into filter or show quick filter, you basically have all the values out there in database. Okay. So it's just basically what it's doing. He's doing select distinct city from your data source and showing the values. Okay. But what if I want to have only those cities displayed which is basically in this report? Okay, kind of. So how you can do that is by saying only relevant values. Okay. So if I say all values, and I can say only relevant values. Okay. So let me do something like put a filter on state. Okay. And I will say none. I will say United. There is no USA here. So I'm putting state. Sorry. I have to put country. Okay. Right. I'll say United States. Sorry. So I have just put country as United States, right? So when I say all values in database, you could see it's showing me each and every country out, city out there, irrespective of what's there in the data set, right? These are basically all countries, all cities in your data connection. But if I go and make this only relevant values, did you change something? Okay, to make it more sense, instead of city, let's use state. I will say multiple values drop down or multiple value list. Okay. So now it's just showing me the US countries, states, right? If I go and say all values in database, it's going to show me everything. So that's what it's different. So when we say all values, what it does, it shows everything out there in database. But sometimes what we want is we want only relevant value. Relevant means what's out on your data source on in this report, right? So in this report, we already have filter for US. So if I just say relevant values, it just show me the relevant values out there. Okay. Now this is again for performance isn't very costly. Okay. So whenever we see relevant values, some of the things I don't know about Tableau is this. This is one of the things. So whenever we see relevant values, what it does is I do something like this. Okay. So let's say this for computing this, you have some SQL, right? So item has some SQL. Select A, comma B, comma C from table 1 join table 2, something like that, okay? And you have a bunch of where clause, something like that, A equal to 1, like that. Basically, you generated some big SQL, right? To get to your this report. That's what file, okay? So as soon as you say show me only relevant values, what it's going to do is it's going to fire this SQL to database. It's going to say select distinct state from this particular sequence. Okay, that's what it does actually when you say only relevant values. Okay, so this SQL is very complex. You could imagine, right? Twice you're going to fire this complex SQL to get distinct state from this. Okay. So if we only have a separate table which has all the states, it's not going to do this. Okay, it's not going to just do a select distinct state from state table. Okay. So in our dimension modeling context, if you have a dimension which has state table, which have state information, then logical thing would have been to just say select distinct state from the table, right? From the dimension. So it will just give you the states, okay? But Tableau doesn't do that. Whenever you say show relevant values, what it does, it basically takes your whole report SQL and put a distinct on top of that. Okay, that's what it does. So it's in a way good also, but when you're looking for performance, it's going to kill you. Okay, so it looks a very small option, very handy, but consider performance when you use relevant values for a large data set. Okay, because you got the thing right. It's going to basically put the distinct clause on top of the complete SQL out there. So if there is a complex SQL to get to this, then putting distinct will again add twice to that basically. Okay. 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 The other frequent requirement we get is to cascade filter. Okay. So what I want to do is show country. So I want to put country on the top, okay, and state. So let's go back to our all values in database and all values in database. Okay. Now, if everything is all on, okay, now I select Afghanistan. Okay. Now, what is showing me here? States. It's showing me all the states, right? I don't want that. I want only the states which are in Afghanistan, right? Below. It's logical. So this is called basically cascading of filter. Okay. So again, how you can achieve that? You can achieve it using only relevant values. Okay. So now you can see I got states only for Afghanistan. If I change this to Austria, so I just got the state for Austria. Okay. So the relevant values can be used to basically cascade. Okay. But remember, Tableau is not good at this. Okay. So if I add like 3-4 filters and I try doing cascading, it's going to basically cram. Okay. If you have a large data set, especially you're crossing around 100 million, then the relevant filters are not the option for you. Okay. They don't work better unless you have a very strong database. Okay. But with a large data set, these relevant values doesn't work very well. Okay. Because the way it's trying to do. Okay, so the dimension basically is not trying to focus this only on a particular dimension or not. Okay, it's trying to take it as compared to all data. So this is the way you can do cascading. Okay, so I can add city now, third filter. Okay, so I can say only relevant values and multiple value list. Okay. So if I go here, I search for United States. Okay. So I can got the states here itself. Okay. but I got all the cities, right? So I have to go and here say only relevant values, and I will just say Arkansas. I only got the cities in the Arkansas. Oh, I was in Arkansas for some time, but I was in Bentonville, but it's not here. Okay, the nearest one is Fayetteville. Okay, that's how it works. So quick filters, relevant values, all are very handy options. So this we are going to use quite a lot. You cannot escape this, right? Because filtering is a very basic thing. But if you work with other reporting tools, you can realize that these are very intuitive and very easy to use. So there are a lot of good options for dates, okay, for other filters, and it's very easy to manage. Right? You can always change it very easily. Okay. So one good thing I like about Tableau is you could change the option there itself. You don't need to come out of the report or save something, right? I don't like this list. I can always easily change it back to uh, drop down. Okay. So for that, you don't need to do something special. You don't need to get out of this, okay, and do it. Okay, so that's quick filters. So any doubts, concerns?
Had a question.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so on the marks, you have the automatic and the bars there. Um, I'm on a public, the Tableau public, and
Uh-huh.
I'm seeing ABC there. How do I change it to bars?
Oh, ABC. Okay, so basically you did something like this. Let's oh, sorry. So you mean this ABC, right?
Yeah, on the left, you see the marks in that automatic ABC. Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is when you don't put any measures, okay, you are just playing only with dimensions, then he doesn't know what to put, so he just put ABC, okay, to tell you. So because I don't have any measures in my report, right? So it has just dimension, that's why. So I want to, let's say, I want to create a report which shows all the categories and subcategories. It's perfectly fine, right? I don't want to play with any measure. So I want a static report which shows me in my company what all categories are there and what are subcategories are part of those categories. Right? So here there are no measure involved. Right? That's why Tableau puts ABC. Okay. So these are the indications which shows that you don't have a measure in your report. Okay. But sometimes you have requirements where you want to only create reports out of dimensions, right? Like this. So I just want this report out there. So sometimes this can become annoying, right? So one option is you could just, let's say, create a calculated field saying, let's say I'm just calling it dummy, okay, and put a value of 1. And you can put that dummy onto your color, or you can put dummy onto your size. Yeah, what I put. Instead of 1, because it's trying to sum it up, right? I will just put a space. So I'm just creating a dummy with space, or let's call this as blank. Okay. So now put blank on text. Okay. So you can see now that ABC is gone, and now you can reduce this to like small thing. Now you're good to go. Okay. Or you can put this into anything. color size, something like that. If you put it on color, you will get something. If you are happy with this also, you can put it. It will just show a dot, okay, and you can put whatever you want to talk. So this is kind of one of the weird thing of Tableau. Not weird, basically that's how it works. If you just have only dimensions, you want to create only reports out of dimension. I want to have a product name also here. Let's see. Okay, so this is basically just a report out of your dimensions, right? In that case, it will show you this ABC because there is nothing to hook on mark. So one quick workaround is you just create a blank calculated field. Okay, you just say right click, create calculated field, name it as blank. Just put in single quote a blank value. Okay, and then you could just drag that to your text. So automatically this will go away basically, the text field, and then you can smaller this out. But if you already always want to look for a measure here, then you are always good. I want to look for a quantity. So I'm all set. I want to put a quantity on there. Okay, so I got a quantity now. So it will work fine. If you don't have a, what I will say, measure, then you get that ABC.
So where are you putting the measure?
Anywhere on the mark. Okay.
Anywhere on the mark. Okay, yeah. If I don't want to see that, and I want to do the bar graph like you are doing, so I put the measure anywhere on the mark. Okay.
Yeah, so let's say I want to put sales and I want to see it by columns. Okay, so you'll automatically get by this. We get a bar. Okay. But if I just put it on color, you'll get it like, okay, but you can always change it by show me. I can change it to bar graph. So you can put wherever you want. So if you change to bar, it will always automatically put it to columns. Okay, if I put it to text, I will get a cross tab by default. Right? This is called cross tab or pivot report. Okay, so other reporting tool will call it pivot or cross tab, whatever you call it. So I can just change category to columns. So I will get something like this for every category. It got pivoted, right? Furniture this, and what is this? So I'm just going to get out this. So got a small pivot chart, right? So on furniture category, accessories, technology, this is the profit, something like that. But I can always change it to a text tab, a simple text, or I can change it back to bar. On quick me, you can change. Okay. So,
Okay. Thank
and
you.
then I can,
Yeah, I got it.
okay, great. So ABC will only come when you don't have a measure in your report. Okay, you're just playing with dimensions. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's for filters. Okay. Yeah. One more thing is when you put a basically measure onto the filter, okay, you get something like this option. Okay, so very obvious. Let's say I want to see only um, profitable sales, so I can say sum of sales is greater than zero, right? So at least zero. It's very, so basically I just put a filter saying that sum of sales should be greater than zero. Okay. So this is where this is basically your having clause, right? So this will be applied after your group by when we talk about it in SQL sense. Okay. So basically you put all the query, okay, and then you will say here having sum of sales is greater than zero. It's very natural. So in a reporting world, you always most of the times do filtering after your aggregation. But there is an option also to do it before aggregation. So I can always do sales and I will say all values. Okay. So you select not sum, mean, max, you say all values and then you do a filter. So I want to, let's say at least zero here. So what it means now is, so you can see there is no sum symbol here. So what's going to happen in the backend is your this filter will go here. So and sale is greater than 0. That's what it will become. Okay, there will be no group by after application, and then the data will get grouped by. Okay. So sometimes you have such requirements wherein you want to uh, filter measure beforehand, right? Before aggregation, it will be fast. So of course, as you might have realized, this will be much faster, right? Because you first filter data set and then you apply aggregation instead of first aggregating and then doing a having filter, correct? SQL. So these are small things, but as you move to advanced use cases and you go through performance tuning, they will impact your reporting. Okay. So that's it for filters. So we actually covered some of the very fundamental things about Tableau. Okay. So now basically you are into a state where you can create small ad hoc analysis. Okay. So you have all the tools with you. So you know sets, groups, filters, marks. So you could use this knowledge to create around 20% of the Tableau reports now. So you have kind of hands of all the features. So you could just play around. So basically try to, one of the easiest thing is whatever I have shared, you can just try to create those reports again. Okay, they're very simple reports and try to explore. That's one of the things of practicing. So there is a basically finished one also, and there will be a normal one. So normal workbook is the exercise is not done basically. The finished one is kind of a solution thing. Okay, so it's a solution workbook that can be used. So from tomorrow we'll try to see the data connection. So that's kind of the hot topic among us. We just want to see how Tableau connects to various data sources, right? So this particular data source we haven't worried till now, correct? So we have used this global superstore across our reports, but we don't know what this data source is comprised of, right? Whether it's Excel, it's Oracle database or whatnot. So that's one of the good thing about Tableau and in general reporting tools. So they isolate end users from the actual technical implementation of your data source. So a business user or a user, a BI user who wants to create reports like us now, we are doing it. They don't need to worry what this global superstore is, right? For him, the only thing which matters is, okay, these are my dimensions, these are my measures, and I should be able to build report, okay? So for 99% of the use cases, you don't need to worry. Like we have done till now, we have survived without knowing what is a global superstore doing, correct? But sometimes, as you are a technical person in your team, you are responsible for creating this, right? It has to be like one-time task. So this has to be created once, or this has to be maintained as it change, right? So we'll see the data behind this. So how to create this connection, how you connect to a database and create a data model and get this data into tabs. I think we'll start with that from tomorrow. So feel free to ask if you get stuck somewhere, okay? Don't hesitate. Okay, I think that's it for today. If you have any questions, we could cover that. Otherwise, we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay. Sure. See you tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Okay.
Okay, certification on Tableau. I also want to do that. Let me check. Okay, I will get back to this on because I haven't explored that area much, certification, but I will do that because I'm also planning to take one soon. So, okay then, yeah, see you tomorrow.